Okay. So I would like that my manager here, the live stream remote, let me know if everything is fine. I didn't have any feedback lately. Okay. What color? The thread is olive. The CDC is natural. Ice Fisher, that the answer was for you. So what I'm doing, I'm gonna keep using the same feather. Take these fibers on the back here and use them as dubbing. So as you may understand, sometimes it's annoying when you use CDC and see how much feathers and how much of the feather you're gonna lose. That's why I came to a point and said, I'm gonna need to use it anyways. So I started using it as dubbing for the body. The original one, the first one that I tied on the 90s, the body was built with the CDC dubbing that I used to buy because I lost track of that brand. After that, I thought, well, let me start tying that. Let me start tying that with the fibers that I can take from the feather. Guilherme, obrigado por estares acordado até tarde. So I was speaking a little bit of Portuguese to a friend of mine that is in England right now, and he's a kid that I coached on the youth team, and I was able to fish with during a long time. So thank you for watching the video. So what I built the body until this point right here, and now I'm gonna just do the ribbing with the crystal flash. Like this. So 3 or 4 turns. That doesn't need to be a lot of them. Sorry if I put my fingers in the middle of the fly when I'm tying, but this tying with the phone in front of me, in between me and the fly, and a couple more cameras around is a little bit strange for me. Why not a dub loop or split thread? I want to use this dubbing, I want to use these fibers as dubbing, so it's faster this way. Of course, a dub loop or a split thread will do the job very well also. What I don't want to is to have too much thread on it. I want this to be as fluffy as possible and light, but you're right. If you try to do that, that will work well also. Sometimes it's about the way you feel more comfortable to use the materials, and a dub loop will work well. This kind of tying that I'm doing with CDC and the wings that I'm going to build next, you're going to see that you can find dozens of different ways to tie it. This is the way I found more comfortable for me, so that's why I keep tying it. So because I want to use this fly also as a dry dropper, and of course, because I'm getting old, and I need to see the flies that I'm fishing with. I've been tying this with a high vis post. So I used to use a medallion or any latex to split the wings, and lately I changed to any of Antrim fibers or high vis fibers. That way I can split the wing and at the same time have a hot spot that I can see, not the fish, not for the fish. So this one is for me to see better. Okay, so that's what I did. Some Antrim fibers here. Now, next, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do some build the thorax, and of course, what I'm gonna do is exactly the same. I'm gonna go back to one of the feathers, take some more take some more fibers, and I'm gonna go right here to them and use it as dubbing to build the thorax. So basically, well, except the chuck and the hive is post that I'm gonna build. Most part of it, of this fly is, I would say 70% of this fly will be CDC. So I want to build a thorax that is bulky, and one of the reasons is as soon as I put the wings on this fly, I want, when I push them against the thorax, I want the wings to lift, to have a more vertical position. If you don't have a bulky thorax like this, the wing will be laid down. So that is the reason I do a bulky thorax. So to build the wings, like I was telling before, the way I feel more comfortable is I stack. I'm gonna stack 3 feathers, 3 CDC feathers, and usually I like long fibers. So what is important is choose 3 feathers. They are very similar in size. Like you see, the fibers on these 3 feathers, they are stacked. They are basically the same size. If you do this, you guarantee that the wing will be, the size of the fibers on the wing will be very similar. So, and what you do next, using your scissor, you're gonna cut the seam right here on the same size, all of them. Okay, as you see, you have a V shape here of fibers, all of them the same size. Then what you're gonna do, you're gonna grab them like this and stack them on the hook. Okay, this. Make sure you get them tight against the thorax. As you see, the fibers, the CDC fibers just changed angle like this. It will came up right away. So now I'm gonna pull them a little bit because I don't want this, like the wings to be so big. I'm gonna pull the fibers a little bit like that. It looks better. I have a mess here in my shop. That's part of the game. So now I have smaller wings. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna trim the feathers in there. Okay. Good to know that the split screen is working well. So now what I'm going to do next is open the wings. So I'm going to use the fibers, the antrum fibers, to open the wings like this. We're going to split it. Make sure the wings are separate more or less 50-50. So to have a better balance on the water, like this. Then what I'm going to do is lock these fibers down here. Then I'm gonna go all the way back here. Now I'm gonna pull back those fibers again. If I use floatant on CDC, yes, of course I do. If you like to use like a gel, a silicone gel, make sure you put a drop of that gel in your fingers, and then try to use your fingers to put that on the CDC. Just a little amount. You're gonna see that if you use too much, your fly will start sinking. The CDC is very sensitive on that, so you need to be careful with the amount of floatant you put. I always do it before start fishing to avoid the water to get inside the fly itself, and then it became heavier. So So here what I have here is I have two wings and you have a little red spot measuring it, dividing it. Now what I'm gonna need to do is cut some fibers that I have extra here. I like to leave the shuck more or less the same size of the shank of the hook, so something like this. When you're fishing, I like to wet this shuck, get it wet, and sink a little bit. And these fibers that I have here, I'm gonna cut them. They're too big. Okay. There you go. I don't know if you can see it well. So I'm gonna move my phone up probably. Is that better now? Okay, thank you. So what I have here, as you may see, if I put it in this position, is a split wing and split with the Antron fluor orange fibers that I had. So at the same time, you split the wing and you split the wing and have a hot spot on it for you to see. It's a good pose because it's full. The full body and thorax is built on the side with CDC. It flows very, very well. Of course, make sure you put some silicone gel on it. Not a lot. Put it in your fingers first. Drop in your fingers and then use it and put it on the fly like this to be very soft. Don't put it on the shuck. Let the shuck sink a little bit. Of course, you can tie this same fly. You can fish it as a green drake. I call it marsh brown because the main reason I used to tie it to fish with for the marsh brown hatches back in Europe, and here green drakes work very, very well, very well. So the dropper, I don't tie it off the band, and the reason is, well, first reason, the competition rules don't allow you to fish it that way. You need to have a little tag. And second, I think the number of takes or when a fish take your fly, you have a better ratio on setting with a tag than you have if you have the other fly attached in there. Not eye to eye. I prefer to do a small tag. I build a tag with a triple surgeon knot. I had some tippet in there. That way I can change. The dry fly or the nymph depending on what I upper to double nymph, just moving one fly. So that's why I like to have it this way. Okay, the next fly I'm gonna tie is another mayfly. Will be a blowing olive. Usually I tie it size 18, 20s. Today I'm gonna tie it size 15, a little bit bigger to be better for us to be able to see it better on the presentation. So I'm gonna use the hook that I'm gonna use will be the Tiemco 103BL. It's a very thin hook, amazing for dry flies. Of course, if you are somewhere that the fish are too big, just be a little bit careful because you can open this wing, this hook very easily. I'm gonna use the same olive thread I was using before. And what I'm gonna do, the body will be in thread. I'm gonna build a tail in Coq de Leon again, and I'm gonna build a wing in CDC. So let's see. So here, because the body will be with the thread that you're tying, make sure you do a good, since the beginning, the thread is stacked very well in a in a very clean way. Don't let any big knots of thread on it. So for the tail, again, use again some CDL. I like the CDL for the adult flies, and I like the Antron to build the same fly but with a shuck, like an emerger. So as you see, I always put the tails very big, and then I'll go back and cut it a little bit. These flies are not available online, except the Spanish Perdigons. Soon they will be available online very, very soon. Just keep an eye on Umpqua new patterns, and they will show up in there. Before I finish the fly and finish the presentation, I'd like to thank Trout Unlimited. They are supporting Umpqua with this signature fly tires presentations. So don't forget, if you can, to support Trout Unlimited. They help a lot our streams, and of course they are supporting the Umpqua Feather Dimensions presentations. So as I said before, I'm going to build this body with a thread. So make sure there's a very thin body. A lot of the mayflies have a thicker body, but it seems to some of the fish, and especially the ones around here that have a little bit more pressure than normal, they like a little bit thinner and smaller sizes. So build up the body here, and next step will be, like I said, I like to see very well the fly, so this one will be a high vis fly also. So I'm going to use the same Antron, or you can use 4 fibers, orange, or any color you prefer. You can do it chartreuse, or can do it in white. White usually works very well also, depending on the light on that day and on the waters you fish. So what I did here from marsh brown to this on fly is I put a little bit less fibers, because this will be a smaller fly. So so now the body is just thread, CDL on the tail, and now I'm gonna use some olive dubbing. You can do an olive dubbing. You can be SLF or any other dubbing. It can be squirrel. The original one is squirrel. And of course, you can also use CDC like we did the marsh brown. So I'm gonna build a little bit bulky thorax here. So what I do, I always put too much dubbing, or what I think is too much, and then I'll correct it on the fly here. So I have a little thorax here. Let's get some of the fibers that are here messing around. Okay. Now we're going to build the wings. Same system, what I did before. Grab some CDC fibers, stack them, 3 of them. For example, these 3, as you can see, I stack them on top one of the others. Try to choose feathers with the same size. That way, if they are the same size, the fibers will be the same length usually, and you'll have better wings. So you need to stack them very well. They need to be exactly on top one of the other. There you go. And let me just use this way here. And now I gotta cut them again like this. Okay, you see, fibers are almost the same size. And what am I gonna do here? Well, I think one of the books that I read more times back and forward was Presentations by Gary Borger. I after being fishing with a lot of anglers in Spain in tournaments and all that, I saw that I could have the same flies, but my standings and my results were different. And so my question was, why are they better? Why I use the same flies and I don't have the same results? And one of the reasons was the presentation, and that's probably more. I think is even more, a little bit more important than the fly itself. A very good presentation with a bad fly, you have good chances to have a fish. A bad presentation with a good fly, I don't think you'll get that fish to eat. So, Presentation by Gary Borger was probably the one that I learned more. And then I learned a lot fishing, a lot of hours on the river. So that gave me a little more background on the fishing that I have now, and of course, fishing with the amazing anglers in Portugal and Spain. I was lucky with fish with amazing anglers, and I learned a lot from each one of them. Even today, when I'm guiding, I learn from my clients. If you keep your eyes open during the time everyone is fishing, there will be something happening that can be strange, but at the end of the day, you're going to realize that there was a logic on it. And if you are able to, if something happened, there's a logic on it. So you can learn from everyone, from mistakes, and from your mistakes and people that you see fishing that are doing mistakes, and also from great anglers like I had the pleasure to fish with and to compete against in the worlds. So what I'm doing here, I'm trimming some fibers that I think that are too big. So this way I can have a fly with a better balance. So as you see, this is a small mayfly. This is olive. You can tie it in brown or rusty brown for a spinner. You can tie it yellow for a PMD. So you can tie it pink for the pink PMD. So there's moments that those flies have a different color. So this, as you can see, you're going to see it very well with these little bows. The fibers are so thin, they float so well that if you're careful, this fly will catch a lot of fish. I'm seeing here that we are already running out of time. Before I finish, I would like to thank you, all of you that were live with me and follow my presentation. And make sure you follow me and Umpqua, and of course my shop, Front Range Anglers, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Umpqua has a lot of very good fly tyers doing presentations in the next week. So go ahead and every day just keep an eye open, and there'll be a great fly tyer at Umpqua, Instagram or Facebook or YouTube for you. Thank you for the kind words that you guys have. If I had time, there was a lot of different flies that we could tie. So make sure that if you have any questions, just email me at antonio@frontrangeanglers.com or contact Umpqua. Thank you. Hey there.